Human evolution came to an end when we began to rear 95% of our infants. Sorry. Hey. Yeah, I'm just about to give this TEDx speech. Yeah, of course I'm nervous. So what if I'm tall, dark, and handsome? That's not going to mean they're going to like it. Sorry, I sound weird? Am I using a mic? Oh, sorry. Human evolution came to an end when we began to rear 95% of our infants. Alas, I find someone who shares my views on this topic, Sir David Attenborough. I stand before you all today with an idea that I acknowledge has come across the minds of many great biologists, but none to a depth of my satisfaction. So here I am with a method I think we can adapt to break a barrier that we have constructed by ourselves, one that is natural yet artificial, and constant but unpredictable. Can anyone possibly guess what my topic is? Yeah, I didn't think so. So before I go on introducing a topic that you have probably seen on our website, the pamphlets in front of you, or the enormous screen behind me, let me take you all through a heartbreaking story of how, point blank, our progress has shot down evolution. Evolution can be most accurately defined as an erratic, never-ending process that is essential for the continuity of life both on and off our planet. Continuous may be, but 100,000 years down the line, the Homo sapien has still remained the Homo sapien. Proof for the halt of this evolution vary from a young boy covering himself with several layers to escape the cold to that kid over there with the extra large spectacles. Simply enough, evolution is inescapably dependent on several positive and negative environmental factors. Like my friend in the desert, Johnny the cactus, who grew thorns all over himself to escape from his arch nemesis, transpiration. These harsh environmental realities cause distress to all organisms. However, it is these same realities that enable these organisms to make changes, small invisible changes, alterations in their genetic sequences, so that their offspring may be better off than they were. Ramapithecus developed into the Australopithecus, which devolved into the Homo habilis, who began to stand on his own 2 feet, called the Homo erectus, which eventually evolved into the Homo sapien, which has now become that. As I mentioned earlier, evolution comes with opportunity. So what happens when there are no opportunities at all? Well, that does. There are 3 primary factors that influence these opportunities: disease, predators, and the physical environment. So let's go one by one. Disease. The unsurprisingly common cold comes knocking on this guy's door. And what does his mom do? She takes him to the blood-sucking man in the white coat who makes money off other people's miseries. Yes, the doctor gives him all of that and says he should be okay in a week. 3 weeks later, the same kid goes to the same doctor with the same problem, and the process has just put itself on replay. So this begs the question, didn't the doctor just steal away an opportunity from the kid to develop immunity, ergo to evolve? Maybe not instantly, but in due course of time, wounds left untreated do learn how to heal themselves. The doctor temporarily treated the cold, but left to the child's immunity. 3 weeks later, he probably could have gone there instead of there. Predators. Sorry, we don't have any. Nothing we need to survive from, right? Top of the food chain, aren't we? Now, maybe we don't live in such a scenario, but we don't need one of those to kill us now, do we? All we really need is one of those. Again, human interference has solved the problem. Antivenom and such have restricted our bodies in creating powerful and authentic immune responses to attacks by such animals. And thus, we have landed right about here. And last, but definitely not the last, the physical environment, weather, pollution, geographical obstacles, and so much more. As I quoted the example of Johnny the cactus earlier, here's something that we humans tend to do when it gets too hot and we lose too much sweat. Now don't get me wrong, humans covered in thorns would be impractical. It would still, however, be infinitely better than this. Adaptations to the climate are key truths to all organisms. But man, in the 18th century, could brave the winters much better than we can now. And it is all because of the warm woolens and the cozy blankets we have blessed ourselves with. Acclimatization has become an alien process, because when the cold gets tough, the heater gets going. An opportunity to evolve thrown away ignorantly yet again. I think we can now safely conclude that our two best friends, technology and medicine, have proven to be the two greatest enemies of evolution. So how long will we keep this up? How long will we fight evolution? And moreover, how long can we fight evolution? I mean, these guys have lived for hundreds and millions of years, and I don't think they have ever used one of those. Oops, I forgot something. Right. So far, I've only managed to bore you with the physical side of evolution. But what about the other half of the story? Intellectual evolution has been equally dampened by progress, and here's how. The overall capacity of the human brain depends on how much it is being allowed to memorize. 50 years ago, when phones were incapable of saving 57,000 contacts, people were fortunately forced to memorize the little things, like the phone numbers and addresses of their friends and family. This boosted their memories by significant capacities. Calculators were meant to calculate the product of 53,019 and 47,582. But last week, I noticed an individual trying to deconstruct an extremely complex and tough mathematical problem. Here it is. I could go on and on about evidences as to how technology, medicine, in short, progress, have taken shots at both physical and intellectual evolution. Instead, I will now provide what I believe to be the last possible solution we have. In short, we need to take a step back, to neglect our own progress. That's right, we need to go back in time. Times when we had to memorize our phone numbers and addresses. Times when we couldn't rear 95% of our infants. And times when cancer couldn't be cured. We've subjected mosquitoes to innumerous pesticides, but we've never really gotten rid of them. That is because each time they find a way to naturally evolve around the weapons we use. And now I know I sound terribly cold and unemotional when I say that a person suffering from cancer should be allowed to suffer. But here's why. These are the statistics of how many cancer-affected patients manage to escape with their lives stage-wise. Now, radiation and chemotherapy have reduced those odds, but not by much. Think of it as a long, drawn-out battle between our immune responses and the disease cancer. We can either choose to constantly interrupt this battle with human interference, in short, treatment, or we can allow our immune systems to learn how to fight their own wars. Now, for the first many times, it's true, we would probably lose. But each time we lose, our immune systems would be better prepared to fight cancer. So the next time, if cancer takes 5 years to kill a person, it would probably take 6. This process repeated, like us, who learn from our mistakes, our immune systems will learn from their mistakes as well. And our grandchildren would probably have to learn about cancer in their history books instead of their biology books. It all comes down to one question in the end. How much are we prepared to sacrifice? Are we willing to let go of our emotions for a brief time period so that maybe future generations have to never hear of cancer again? I mean, let's think about it. Are we finally willing to let our heads rule our hearts? Food for thought, ladies and gentlemen. Food for thought.